There is a condition in animals that occurs when they're held in captivity for long periods of time. It's called zoochosis, and it's representative of a mental health crisis in animals. It occurs typically in large mammals such as tigers, lions, elephants, and polar bears. And it's a mental health crisis in animals that's often exhibited when they're not allowed to exhibit their natural instinctual behaviors. Animals in the wild graze for hours each day. They're subject to constant torment from outside and external factors, and their survival instincts help them cope with these crises out in the wild. So when they're held in captivity, they're refrained from exhibiting these behaviors, and it results in a condition called zoochosis. It is displayed by animals exhibiting signs and symptoms such as repetitive monogamous behavior, bar biting, over-grooming, and even regurgitation of food. Animal and wildlife conservatives are extremely concerned by these behaviors, and it's extremely common at zoos. But at least it's only limited to humans, animals, right? The American Psychological Association has released some extremely concerning information about the rise of mental health crises in youth, millennials, and Gen Z. Their statistics show that youth typically exhibit at least one mental health crisis in their lives. Suicide rates have increased 2 times since 2017, and there's been a drastic increase in mental health crises since 2017. We can assign a variety of different factors as to why this occurs. Substance abuse, lack of youth resources for mental health in youth, and social media. But one factor that's not addressed is monotonous routine that is glamorized by society. If I asked the average person what their day-to-day life looked like, it would typically consist of this: waking up, grabbing something quick to eat from your fridge, going to your 9 to 5, coming back home, finishing up on some work, maybe going to the gym, grabbing something else to eat, personal hygiene, and then bed. There's not a lot of room in that for enrichment, which humans need in order to survive. 1,000 years ago, our lives didn't look like this. Humans are naturally hunter-gatherers. We need enrichment in our lives in order to perform to the best of our abilities. Back 1,000 years ago, we would engage in behaviors such as hunting for hours each day, gathering food for ourselves and our families, and feeding ourselves to not a point of fullness, but feeding ourselves with whatever we could get our hands on. Nowadays, our lives don't look like that. And I believe that this is a large contributing factor as to why mental health crises have increased so drastically within the past few years. When we look at the fundamentals of humanity, philosophers for generations have discussed what humans were meant to do. Aristotle described humans as rational thinkers. He described us as more intelligent and more involved than our animal counterparts. I disagree with this idea. I think that evolution and society has allowed us to better ourselves and increase our intellectual abilities. However, the rise in mental health crises is a direct direct implication of our lack of enrichment. How many of you have experienced a mental health crisis within the past 5 years? That's a large show of hands. Just like what I said earlier, your routines probably look similar to the one I described. When we take a look at our behavior and the things we do in our lives, it's easy to see that the way we structure our routines and we structure our lives are representative of one with limited enrichment, limited physical activity, and severe vitamin deficiencies because of these behaviors. Vitamin D deficiency is something that's immensely plagued American civilization for generations. And when you look at the reasons why, it's because we simply don't get outside enough. So now that I've all given you some sort of existential crises, how can you implement enrichment into your day-to-day life? While what I've talked about seems a little complicated, the answer is fairly simple. Do any of you own a dog? If you've left it at home for extended periods of time, you know what happens. They might tear up your curtains or your favorite Karen Blahniks. That behavior is because they do not have the proper enrichment to engage in order to help themselves feel calm and worn out. So, don't quit your 9-to-5s, but engage in behaviors that help you tire yourself out. Find ways to switch up your day-to-day lives. Go for coffee with a friend. Go on a run. Go for a swim in an outdoor pool. Get some sun. These are ways that you can prevent yourselves from experiencing severe mental health crises. Now, there's a variety of factors that, yes, I completely agree, contribute to these mental health crises. But a big portion of it is the fact that we simply aren't relating back to our natural instincts. And natural instincts are very present in our day-to-day lives, whether you choose to see it or not. Take conditions such as anxiety. Anxiety is described by mental health professionals as something that results from an overactive limbic system. The amygdala and thalamic sensory responses are things that contribute heavily to anxiety responses. When you have anxiety, it's simply an overactive limbic system and a break in the chemical makeup of your brain. But anxiety 1,000 years ago was necessary for survival. Your limbic system is a survival response. Treating anxiety is a lot simpler than simply over-medicating yourself. Engaging in and understanding your natural instincts could significantly contribute to helping yourselves ground yourself and recovering from your condition. I believe that our lack of understanding and awareness of our insatiable behaviors are what's contributing to these mental health crises currently and in previous generations. Understand that where you are now and the routine and the monotonous behavior that you engage in every single day is not what is healthy for you and is not what you should be exhibiting. Prevent yourself from experiencing zoochosis, and if any other mental health resources, you guys would like, if there are any other mental health resources you guys would like to see, there is 3 in my Instagram bios, so don't forget that. Thank you.